Hello, it's VixEcoDesigns here, and in this video I'm going to show a more detailed explanation on how to do an invisible darning by interweaving a patch over the hole. So over here I have my sample. It's 100% wool crepe fabric, slightly transparent, and I've done a hole here just to visibly show how to do that, and I've got a patch already prepared. So my hole is around 2 centimeters in length, and it's kind of just less than a centimeter wide. So the patch I prepared is 6 by 6 centimeters, but what I've done, about 2 centimeters from each side, I've taken the threads off, so it looks like that, looks like a cross. So the middle part of the fabric preserved will go over the hole, and all the threads will be interwoven into the fabric. Before we start, to avoid the bulk, I'm just gonna trim the threads which are raveling, just to make it a cleaner finish. So the actual hole looks like that. Gonna take it off. Now I need to make sure that I place my patch with the warp and weft go in same direction as on the fabric. Like, this is piece of wool that, like, from the first sight looks that the warp and weft are exactly same, but in fact they're different. How do I know that? If I look closer, I'm not sure gonna be visible on the video, but it is visible to me that one direction thread is a bit thinner than the other. So I believe this is the warp and this is the weft, because it's thinner, but I'm not sure. So in here, to check the direction is right, I'm just taking one of the threads from the side and see how it looks like. It looks like more the thread that goes that direction, so because it goes in the same direction here, I'm gonna place my patch that way, making sure that it's exactly covering the hole. Then I'm gonna temporarily pin it like that, and then I'm going to baste it to place to secure it sits firmly and does not move. So I'm gonna use just the red, plain red thread, just to make it more visible. Gonna take my pinion off already because I've secured one side. So as you can see, I'm doing tiny stitches, maybe about 3 by 3 millimeters in length, just to make sure that my patch does not move when I weave it in. Okay, so I'm just gonna do, just in case, and then I'm gonna cut off the thread. So now the patch is secured, I can kind of start, but from my first attempt I've noticed that once you start working with one side, the other threads might go a bit loose. They basically are getting on the way. So what I've done, I'm gonna start from the top. So now I'm gonna secure all the other 3 sides so the threads do not move and do not disturb my work. So I've just done it by doing the simple movements like that. I'll show you. I'll go with the red thread. Basically that's it, and I'm gonna do exactly the same. I secure my thread a little bit just with one stitch so I can easily take it off when I need it, and I'm gonna do each side individually for the reason that I'm gonna obviously work with them one by one. So I'm gonna unpick the red thread one by one so I can continue working with them. So let me just fast forward the other three. Okay, so I've done that. I'm gonna cut this off so it doesn't disturb me actually as well. Now, I've taken this method of patching from a book, which was not very visual. It just had this description, and the description said that now you need to interweave these threads back into the fabric, mainly going in such a way that they are not visible. It does not go exactly how to do that, so I just kind of figured that out. The book also called to do that with a needle, threaded needle. Basically you thread in such a way that you have a loop at the end, and you just put each individual thread through the loop and into the fabric. I could not figure out how they did it, so I've just invented my own way, which I find easier to do. Okay, to do the actual weaving, you need to put all these threads from your patch through the fabric, mainly from the other side so they're not visible. So to do that, you obviously do one by one. You take the very first thread on your right. This is possibly for right-handed people. I'm not sure for left-handed people if you do it the other way, sorry. You take a needle, prickle the needle where the thread would go in, then kind of you prickle your fabric from inside. You should see the dimple, but you should not see your needle. Do about 4 or 5 prickles like that. Then you need to put this thread through this fabric. I found it easier to do just with a threader. So I put the thread through, as you can see it's gone through the hole of the needle, and then I simply pull the needle and my thread gone through. Now you can see the other side. You can see my threads. Obviously you will have a thickness of fabric where you pull the thread through. To make it nicer, cleaner finish, you can cut off these little ends at the end. And so on you continue until you do one side. Once you're finished with this side, you can take off your basting and do the other side. So you basically have to do all of them. You can do warp first and then go to the weft direction, or you can do them clockwise, like you finish that side, you move to that one, and so on. It's up to you. Another very important thing to consider when you do this method is that this is a plain colored fabric. If you have a fabric that has a pattern, like a printed pattern, or if it's a woven pattern with a different colored warp and weft threads, sorry, you need to make sure that you find a patch which exactly repeats the pattern to make the patch invisible, obviously. I'm not going to do the whole thing on the video just to make it shorter, but I'm going to show you a sample that I've done earlier on. So this is a patched piece. You can see a little cross, and this is the other side. I did not trim these little ends just to make it more visual, and this is the original hole, and the patch interwoven, obviously you see it from this side, but you barely see it from the other side. If you have any questions, or if you want to comment or ask something, just leave me a comment, drop me a message, and I'll try to answer it. If there's anything else that is not really clear from this video, let me know as well. I will try to correct that. In my next video, I have another hole here. I would like to try to do a more intricate method of weaving the fabric back over this hole. So it's a method where you don't use the patch, but you basically take the threads from your fabric and create the fabric over the hole. So stay tuned. I hope to do that video one day and share with you. Bye now.